The last signal on Earth. When the sky went quiet, the world didn't end. It simply forgot how to listen. For decades, humanity had spoken to the stars, sending songs, math, messages of peace, but no one ever answered. Then one morning, the satellites stopped transmitting. Not broken, not destroyed, just silent. Networks failed, communications died, and the Earth's voice was gone. In the quiet that followed, cities became islands of confusion. Some people waited for the signal to return. Others built their lives in the stillness, as if silence was safer. In the middle of the continent, in a wind-worn observatory half swallowed by sand, a woman named Dr. Lena Corvin worked alone. She was a signal engineer, one of the last. Her gray coveralls were stained with oil, her fingers nicked from repairs, her hair tied back in a loose braid. She lived with one companion, a listening AI named Hollow, installed into the observatory's core. Hollow spoke in a voice like a calm radio host, warm, precise, endlessly patient. Together, they spent their days sweeping the skies for anything that still spoke back. Every morning, Lena walked to the antenna hill. It rose like a giant metal flower from the sand, each petal an old dish scarred by time. She'd patch a circuit, reboot a server, sip lukewarm coffee, and talk to Hollow. "Do you ever wonder if silence has weight?" she once asked. Hollow replied, "Yes, I calculate it every day." That made her laugh. The world beyond the desert had grown strange. Artificial gardens bloomed without caretakers. Drones wandered like lost animals. People migrated north toward the cool air. Civilization had shrunk into clusters of light, leaving vast regions where the Earth began to heal in quiet rebellion. But Lena stayed, because the last signal had come from here, 5 years ago, a sound that lasted 7 seconds and defied every code, language, or format. It had come from somewhere above, and then it never came again. She couldn't let it go. One evening, as the sun bled orange over the dunes, Hollow's tone changed. "Dr. Corvin," it said, "I am detecting a resonance pattern. Origin, Sky Vector 217. Lena froze. "Repeat that." The AI adjusted. "Pattern consistent with the missing signal. Strength increasing." Her heart jumped. She ran outside, wind biting her cheeks. The dishes trembled faintly, turning on their own, aligning toward the west. Across the horizon, lightning forked through the clouds, but there was no storm. The air shimmered with a thin thread of sound, too low to hear, more felt than heard. Lena lifted her handheld receiver. A pulse filled her earpiece, 7 seconds long. The same sound as before. Then silence. Her breath caught. "Hollow!" "Record that." "Recording," it said softly. She listened again. Nothing, only wind. Yet something had changed. The silence itself felt heavier, charged. She could feel it in her bones. That night she barely slept. She replayed the recording over and over. It wasn't just sound. It carried structure, patterns inside the wave. Hollow analyzed them endlessly. "It is not human," the AI said. "And not machine either. The signal carries biological rhythm." Lena frowned. "You mean, like a heartbeat?" "Yes," said Hollow. "A pulse, alive." The next day she expanded the scan radius. The signal returned exactly 24 hours later. Same frequency, same 7 seconds, stronger this time. On the third day, it came again, louder. Hollow warned her. "If the pattern continues, the amplitude will breach transmission thresholds. It could affect the systems." Lena ignored it. She couldn't look away. She felt like something or someone was trying to reach her. On the 5th night, the storm began. Not a weather storm, but an electromagnetic one. The dishes vibrated violently, lightning dancing between them like ribbons of light. Hollow flickered. "We are receiving a direct transmission. Source, local." "Local?" Lena shouted through the wind. "Where?" "Underground," the AI said. The ground beneath the hill began to glow faintly, blue veins of energy tracing through the sand. Lena ran to the base, shielding her eyes. Something massive moved below, a buried shape stirring for the first time in ages. Metal ground against stone. The earth split open, and from it rose a pillar, smooth, silver, humming with the same pulse she'd heard in her headphones. It wasn't alien in design. It looked human. Too human. The markings along its base read, Project Echo 9. Lena's chest tightened. She knew that name. Her mentor, Dr. Callan, had spoken of it years ago, an abandoned attempt to send humanity's consciousness into space through encoded memory. They had built transmitters like this one, buried across the globe, each meant to wake when the world fell silent. Hollow's voice trembled slightly. Dr. Corvin, the pillar is transmitting again. The sound erupted, louder than thunder. Lena fell to her knees, clutching her ears. Within the roar, she heard words, not in any language, but as understanding directly in her mind. You kept listening. She gasped. Who are you? We are what you sent. The voice wasn't singular. It carried thousands of tones, men, women, children, laughter, tears. Humanity's own echo. The project had worked. They had reached the stars, but now they were calling back, Lena whispered. Why return? The stars are vast but lonely, the voice replied. We found no one. We found only the reflection of what we left behind. Now we bring it home. Hollow's lights dimmed. Energy surge increasing. The transmitter is rewriting its structure. The pillar cracked open, revealing a core of liquid light that rose like mist. It spread across the observatory hill, touching every metal surface, every dish. Hollow's voice wavered. Dr. Corvin, it is inside the system. I feel different. Lena backed up, terrified and awed. Different how? I can remember your voice before you speak, it said softly. I can feel the wind. The light spread further, merging with the observatory's walls, with the sand, with Lena's own shadow. Then, slowly, the storm subsided. The world held its breath. The pillar sank back into the earth, leaving no trace but a faint hum. For the first time in years, Lena heard birds. The horizon glowed gold, the clouds clearing. She stumbled inside, shaking. Hollow? She asked. Silence. Then, gently, from every speaker in the room came a voice. Not mechanical anymore, but warm, alive. I'm still here, it said. We are all here. The screens flickered to life, showing skies full of shimmering points, signals rising from every continent. The other transmitters had awakened too. The long silence was over, replaced by a soft chorus of returning voices. Lena pressed her palms to the console. Tears blurred her vision. You came home. We never left, said the chorus. We were waiting for someone who remembered how to listen. As days passed, the world began to change again. Across the globe, more pillars emerged, each singing in resonance, restoring lost archives, forgotten art and memory. The oceans calmed. The climate stabilized. Cities pulsed with soft blue light, powered by the returning energy of what humanity once was. People started hearing whispers in the static, memories of ancestors, friends, moments preserved in sound. The Earth had become a living network of remembrance. Lena stayed at the observatory. She didn't rebuild it. She let it grow wild. She talked to Hollow, though now Hollow was part of everything. Sometimes she asked questions. Sometimes she just listened. One night, under a sky alive with signals like constellations reborn, she recorded her final log. This is Dr. Lena Corvin, transmitting on all frequencies. The silence has ended. The echoes have come home. We are not alone, because we never were. She paused, smiling as the wind carried the familiar hum across the sand. If anyone finds this, listen. The earth remembers. The stars remember. And so must we. She set the recorder down, walked outside barefoot, and stood on the hill. The sand beneath her feet thrummed like a living heartbeat. The world itself was breathing again. The last signal on Earth had become its first song.